Hey, it's time for the Mystery Hour highlight show. You may notice I'm on the Mystery Hour stage, but I don't have my set with me. That's because we're just checking out the best guests we've had on for this half hour. We've had guests from Mad Men, The Office, Parks and Rec, Veep, Sports Center, other ones that I'm not thinking of. But first, we also have a great title sponsor, and that's Branson. Check out this video. Things kids say in Branson. Does our hotel have a pool? Does it have a pool? Does our hotel have a pool? I can't wait to see a show and then have to go to the restroom at the most inopportune time. I just saw a sign for the world's largest toy museum. Mom, when we get there, will you carry me? Hey, can we live here? Ooh, Titanic Museum. Did the Titanic have a sad ending or a happy ending? Ooh, can I get a toy? Hey, Mom, look. Mom, look. Mom, I just ate a hot dog. Let's go on a roller coaster and see what happens. Ooh, Jeff Gherkin, local realtor. Can we meet Jeff Gherkin, local realtor? He looks nice. I won't appreciate everything you've done to make this vacation happen until I'm older and have my own kids. It's kind of not fair. Anyway, I'm sweaty. All right, let's get into it. We had Paul Scheer come out here. Paul's from The League. He's also been in Veep. He's been in so many great things. How Did This Get Made podcast. And we had a visit from Leslie David Baker, Stanley from The Office. And let me tell you, it was better than Pretzel Day. Check it out.
I know that whenever I listen to the radio and I listen to like certain people, when I see them, I'm disappointed. I'm like, oh, you're not how I pictured you.
Right.
Like, you're not like the character in my mind. And like, so there's a thing. I mean, luckily, I think hopefully people know what we look like. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I hope I didn't disappoint anybody tonight. You thought I was gonna have a giant mustache, come out here in a cowboy hat, you know, on a miniature pony. That's how you envisioned me from the podcast.
A miniature pony?
A miniature pony. A classier pony. It's not, look, I can ride a regular pony.
Anyone.
But that's for the rich people. I'm more of the miniature pony guy, the relatable guy. I have the miniature pony.
You're a man of the people. You have a miniature pony.
Exactly.
You're not going to flaunt your pony?
I'm not going to be like, I got a pony. I got a miniature one. It's cute. It's like driving a Mini Cooper. It's like a kind of a sports car, but it's kind of not. You can't be mad at me.
It's an affordable pony.
Eats half the hay, eats half the oats. Easier to clean up after. It's a very, you know, look, if you guys want to get into the miniature pony business, talk to me.
What's your favorite thing about miniature ponies?
Well, I gotta say, you can name them human names and they don't mind it. You know,
like a regular pony, they're kind of uppity.
Yeah, a regular pony you gotta name Sparkles. But a miniature pony, you could call him Herman and he's fine with it.
Mark, get over here.
Bum, 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 bum. You know.
So I would say among one of your specialties is just like glances, right? Like it's just perturbed glances.
Well, you know, they say that a look is worth 1,000 words. And a lot of times you react to what's going on. So instead of, you know, having a whole bunch of dialogue, if something is happening over here, we all do it every day in real life. Somebody will do something over here and you'll go like, And that says, she knows she's lying. That's not her real hair or her real husband. But instead of saying that out loud, you just go, And the camera would pick that up and the audience in turn would look at that because they were thinking the same thing or saying, we're now privy to something that we, you know, normally wouldn't be privy to.
Yeah.
Because the way the set was constructed, we had all four walls, so there wasn't that third, you know, that fourth wall that wasn't there. So you had the cameraman, he could do a 360 with the camera, so you felt like you were inside the room with us.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there is like, and particularly having like such a character like in Steve Carell and Rainn Wilson's characters that like, you have to have someone that communicates reality, where it's like, Yes, this is bizarre.
It's bizarre, and you have to also have strong teeth in the back to keep from biting through your tongue completely to, when they're doing, when he and Rainn Wilson are doing what they're doing to try to stay in your character, because sometimes the stuff that they would do, we would all break. We would, and they'd go, we got to do it again because you just fell out on the floor laughing. So,
right.
Yeah.
Let's keep this thing rolling. Parks and Rec is one of the best classic shows of all time, and we've been lucky enough to have 2 guests on. But before I introduce them, we also have a great guest sponsor, History Museum on the Square. That's where it is. Hey, let's check out Jerry and Purd. So, do you have a favorite moment from Parks and Rec?
Favorite moment in Parks and Rec, when they asked me to do the worm. Do you guys watch that show? Do you remember that episode? Yeah, I said, well, I can't do it. I said, do you see my size? I can do the anaconda, but I can't do the worm. So I looked on YouTube, and there's a guy on YouTube who teaches you how to do the worm. And so I learned it the night before, and, it's become this thing with Parks and Rec.
So, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just so beloved.
Yeah.
And did it? We've talked about this. Did it in kind of a different way, in the sense that you guys, how you felt about each other came through.
Yeah, the thing for me for Parks as a show, and I take no credit for any of the writing. Every once in a while we'd get an improv bit that would stay in it, but there's so much love in that show. Even we talked about this earlier, he made me go to lunch with him today. We'll talk, but anyway, but we were talking earlier, and I think what I love about Parks is it wasn't all laughs. You could go to a commercial break without a big laugh. It was okay. You could have emotions. You could have people crying. And you don't get that a lot in the sitcom. So I happen to love that. And people always love to hear, so I'll tell you, the core 8 of us are still on a text link together, and we text every day. So when something good happens to one of us, I won an Emmy a couple months ago. Anyway, but yeah. No, but, so right away, oh my God, and so we do that for each other, and Adam Scott had a big article in the New York Times the other day, and so we're still, it's been 2 years since we've been on the air. We're on the air every day during syndication stuff, but 2 years since we're working together every day, and we can't break apart yet.
That's wonderful.
And the only one we're worried about, but I think things will go better for him, is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I will tell you, and I hope this doesn't go further, I throw him $20 a week to cut my lawn.
That's nice.
Because he's got a kid, he's got little Jack, and it gets my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. In this text thread, has anyone congratulated you yet for this show, The Mystery Hour?
As a host, you should be aware that never ask a question you don't want the answer to.
Fair enough.
That's an old rule. That is an old rule. They're thrilled for me. Seth Meyers a couple weeks ago. Jeff Houghton tonight. It's all the same. It's all the same.
We will be right back with more from the Mystery Hour Guest Highlight Show. Is there a guy behind me? A wizard? Okay.
That comedy bit brought to you by Bush Ramlow & Shore CPAs.
Set design and construction brought to you by Elamoose, Digital Quill Studio, and Skinny Theatrical Design and Fabrication.
Closed captioning for the Mystery Hour provided by Paragon Architecture. Big Whiskey's is the official American restaurant and bar of the Mystery Hour. Guest booking provided by Gig Salad.
Welcome back, everybody. What does an Olympic gold medalist, an actor from Seinfeld, and an actor with a great Brad Pitt story have in common? That's right. They've all been guests on the Mystery Hour. We'll start out with the fastest woman alive, Carmelita Jeter. You're in the Olympics.
Yes.
Take me into the 4x1. You're anchoring it. And it's like you can have the fastest people if the exchanges aren't great. You're screwed, right?
Well, you know, for a couple of Olympics, they've had faster women, the Americans. We've had faster women on the 4x1 team. And the number one thing I always preach is it's not about the fastest for women, it's about the chemistry. Whenever you're putting a team together, regardless if it's an Olympic team, maybe it's a work team, everybody has to mesh well. Everyone has to believe that the other person's going to do their job and they're going to pass the baton off. And then when you get it, you're going to do your job. And when we were in London, Bianca Knight was not the fastest person. She was the slower athlete of the group. And we chose to put her on there because she had heart, she had drive, she had passion, and I knew she was going to bring me the stick. When Tiana Madison,
ran the third leg?
She ran the third leg. When Tiana Madison started the race, I said, oh, we won. I knew instantly.
Because you were watching.
Of course I'm watching, so I'm sweating and, and the nerves are going because I'm thinking, okay, now I can't mess it up. And Allison Felix gets the stick. And for the first time, if you watch the relay, you see Allison with so much emotion. She's screaming at Bianca Knight. And then Bianca's bringing it to me. 16 steps. That's a crazy amount of steps that you give an elite athlete. Usually it's 22 and 23. I gave her 16 because that's how fast I was ready to run. And when I got the stick, everyone says, well, did you know you were breaking the world record? I said, I did. It was like I was running in the air. And when I pointed, everyone said, well, what did you point for? What did that mean? And sometimes, you know, you can't always say what you want to say. So you have to do it in other ways. And so many people were against us. So many people said we weren't going to do it. We were going to drop the stick. And it was a little disappointing to hear a lot of you know, naysay about us. So the point said a lot. It said, take that, you know where to go and how to get there.
Actually, here's an interesting story that happened between me and Quentin and Brad. So when we're shooting the movie, there were some sequences that had a lot of downtime in between takes. And so we're all sitting around me and Quentin and Brad and Eli Roth, and we're all talking you know, about various things, and we start talking about what we did for the Millennium New Year's. And, you know, these are all very successful people, and they're like, oh, I was in Paris in a blimp, and I was like, okay. And someone else was like, oh, I was in the Maldives and having caviar. And I was like, well, I did something that, I don't know, I mean, it took a lot out of me, but it was fun. I went to Times Square for the Millennium. I was like, if I'm going to do it once, this seems like the time to go. So I'm telling the story about how I went, and everyone was like, oh, you're so stupid. What a waste. You wasted the Millennium. And I'm like, I don't know. It was all right, guys, but they didn't want to hear it. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? You guys, you're being mean. Because I tell you what, someday my kids are going to say to me, Dad, you were alive for the Millennium. What did you do? And I can tell them I was at the center of the universe that night. And none of you people can say that. And then right as I say that, they were like, okay, guys, we're ready for you on set. So we got to, you know, we go and we shoot for like another hour or whatever. And then like 2 hours later, I'm over getting a cup of coffee. And Brad walks up to me and he goes, hey, man, I didn't know you had kids. How old are they? It is at this point I should tell you, I do not now, nor have I ever had children. I meant one day when I have children, and they ask me. But the last thing I want to do is disappoint Brad Pitt. So in my mind, at that point, I'm like, oh, you have to lie and tell them you have children. You have to lie. You have to make up ages, names, the whole thing. And I'm like, no, it's too big. It's too big. I'll just tell them the truth. And I was like, oh, Brad, no, I don't have kids now. I just meant like one day. And he was so bummed out. He was like, oh, dude, I thought we had something in common. I thought we had something we could talk about. And I was like, Brad, there is so much that you and I have in common we can talk about. Like, isn't it a drag being so unbelievably handsome all the time? You know, people just giving you free stuff, women wanting to talk to you. Ugh, thanks, but no thanks.
But you mentioned CSI. You've been in a number of CSI.
Yeah, I've done all the CSI. I've done this, so many different shows. I've done 100 different shows and films. But again, it's like the Banya thing. It just overrides. It just
What's your
is.
favorite film you've been in?
I did a movie called The Marrying Man a number of years ago. It was a Neil Simon film. Me and Alec Baldwin and Paul Reiser, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, they sent us to Vegas just to become friends. And we all had our own suite.
Yeah.
And all we had, literally, this was so long ago, we went to see Sinatra. That's how long ago it was. It was like 92 or something like that, right? And actually, this is not me. I wouldn't normally do this, but I was just having such a great time that in between songs, I yelled out, "Frank, you're the king!" I couldn't even believe I did it. And there was a pause, and Sinatra goes, "Oldest damn king you ever saw." And Paul Reiser went berserk. He's like, "You just had a conversation with Frank Sinatra." So yeah, Frank and I chatted.
You're friends. Now, when you auditioned for the role of Kenny Banya, you also got a great response.
Yeah, I did. You know, it's weird when you audition for things. Sometimes you're going in and you don't have that great a feel for it. And I had been in for Seinfeld 2 or 3 other times for other roles and didn't get them. But they kind of knew of me and they wanted to use me. And the role of Banya, all it said was, hacked comedian, thank you. And they thought of me. And then it said most annoying person in the world. And they thought of me, which is nice. And then, you know, when you do these auditions, sometimes the walls are thin. You can hear the other people auditioning. So I'm listening and I'm like, oh my God, these people are so just annoying and a kind of like, that's not gonna hold up. Who wants to listen to that?
Right.
So like right before I went in, I said, what if he's annoying because he wants to be Jerry's friend so bad?
Yeah.
So after they were saying all these kind of negative, annoying things, I went in with this big smile and just desperately, like a puppy dog, wanted to be Jerry's friend. And they just lost it.
Yeah.
And you could just tell in a second. I was like, okay, this is the part. Yeah. So that was it. And then I was Banya. And then they just started having Banya back. And Jerry started sticking Banya in every episode, like the soup Nazi. Like, let's have Banya cut in line. Yeah. Because Jerry just liked the character. He thought the character was hilarious. He's like, stick Banya in there.
Because Seinfeld's New York was like a small town where these people, you're just like, oh, I see that guy, and I see that guy.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Guy. Yeah.
Right. It was like Mayberry. Mayberry, Manhattan.
Next up, we're going to go to a commercial break. But first, we once had a dog on the show that was touted as a frisbee catching dog, but it wasn't catching any frisbees. Until it did. Check this out.
She's just a dog.
Just a dog.
But she wears a dress and shoes.
She wears a dress.
Come on, give it up. All right, here we go. Ready, go. Yeah. Yeah. There she goes. Throw it to her. Hup. Yeah. There you go.
Travel and accommodations provided by Hotel Vandervoort. Systematic Savings Bank, official bank of the Mystery Hour. 92.9 The Beat, official radio station of the Mystery Hour.
Hey, Dana Powell is a Springfield native who plays Pamela on Modern Family. Efren Ramirez is a Los Angeles native who played Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite. I'm an Iowa native who plays a guy who knows what he's doing, but doesn't. Check out these interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your first big job?
Reno 911.
Yeah.
And do you, I know you have a lot of versatility. I've seen you in a lot of things and seen you do a lot of improv.
Yes.
Do you find that you get cast in similar roles, or do you?
I would say that I get cast in one of two things. I think I'm very versatile, but I either play very, very dumb and sweet, or super aggressively horrible. That just one of the two. There's no in between for me. I'm either just a terrible, loud, and obnoxious person, or very sweet and often very religious and dumb. Not that the two go hand in hand, Mom.
So Reno 911, did that get you other things, or is it separate from that? Or did people see you in that?
I think a lot of people saw me in that. It was really fun, actually sort of a behind the scenes thing. Tom and I had such a great time together, and it really was one take.
This is Tom Lennon?
Tom Lennon,
okay.
Who plays Short Shorts Dangle on the show. And we just had such a great rapport, and we were in makeup, and he goes, I don't really like to rehearse. Is that cool? And I was like, yeah, man. And he was like, so basically, we're gonna talk, you're gonna go in that room. It was an American Idol thing. And then you're gonna come out and you'll have made it to Hollywood. And that's all I knew. And it was one take. And we did we had such a good time together that they ended up using all of the material instead of splitting it up. And they made, it was that season's opener, and they made it into 2 episodes because they wanted to use
Nice.
So.
Springfield represent.
Yeah!
And then I think what probably people may most know you for, particularly because it's very popular and you're on with some frequency, is Modern Family.
Yes.
And who do you play on Modern Family?
I play Pamela Tucker.
And it is so cool to have you here because do people feel like a connection to you because of mostly Napoleon Dynamite? Do you feel like, no, he's not just this celebrity I don't know, I know him.
Well, as long as they voted for me. Yeah, I will say I do love the characters of Napoleon Dynamite, and when people come up to me and they talk to me, I'll either do, well, that's what I'm talking about, jeez. So, every character is so unique and so different, and Pedro, I'll do it once for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, if you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Yes. That's what we wanted. All right, that was the Mystery Hour guest highlight show. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.